welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is, well, I think it's Wednesday, but every day is just going into nothing because we're all
It's just
trapped like
another day.
rats here.
Hey, how did Mr. Rogers say? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, if you're out there plowing the streets with your own equipment, be careful. You might get a fine.
That's right. You're not helping your community.
That's right.
You're actually gonna get a fine. The people who throw their snow in the street are not gonna get a fine, but if you take it off the street, you're gonna get it. But hi guys, Stevie, I don't know what
Yes, Stevie, I did receive it.
okay. Well again, look at nothing is happening in Fall River like it hasn't happened for 6 years into the 7th year. Yeah, we'll get to that. They are insane. He's right. He said you people are crazy, and he's right. They are crazy. They did not stand for the woman whose daughter was brutally had her throat. She was stabbed in the throat by somebody who had a criminal record going back decades. They have no soul. They don't care. They got up for the hockey team only because they probably got hockey fans that they want to get their votes up. They are serious. And voter ID and things like that, 70% of the Democrats want it, and they don't care. These people are radical. They're right. They are absolutely crazy.
Jeff, in regards to government center, that was not done by DCM. That was not done by any private entity. That was done by government center employees who are contracted to do that. They stayed in their lane. Their contract says what they have to do, and they did that. Those people could not plow streets. They could not shovel the sidewalks over in front of the bus station. They couldn't do any of that. Their job was government center, and that's what they did.
So what you're saying is Paulie has his own private snow removal service.
Well, it's not exactly.
He contracted him. Yeah, for his building.
No, they're contracted maintenance people for the building. It's part of their job.
So now they get extra money for, we used to have to shovel a fire station. We didn't get any extra money. We shoveled the fire station.
These guys have to do government center.
Well, they have to do, because they work there. And just like we had to do. That was part of the job.
Right.
We shoveled the sidewalks, we shoveled the ramps, we did whatever we had to do. But listen. No, Gene, it's worse than that. It's worse than that, Gene. I'm glad you posted that. He went on TV and said he's not going to do anything till the National Guard comes here. Now,
that's
all you
not
guys
exactly what he said. What he exactly said was, I am waiting for the National Guard before we start anything.
That's right. Well, that means and I know Paul will call me up because that's not exactly what he said. And maybe that's not exactly what he said, what you said that he said.
Right.
So, but that's not the freaking point, is it? The point is we got a useless mayor. Recall freaking Coogan. Here's another one for you. We got a mayor. I've been stuck in my house since the blizzard. I missed a scheduled test at a hospital. I can't go get gas for my snowblower unless I walk there. I got a ton of food, but now I'm running out. You can't take your car anywhere. You're going to get fined if you take the snow off the streets. But he's not going to take the snow off the streets. You know what that's called? That's called an error of omission. It means you didn't do a fucking thing. That's what he's doing. Nothing. That's why he couldn't be a principal. You're going to let the people of Fall River run out of shit in their houses, not be able to go to work if they work in private industry because they can't drive, supposedly. And you're sitting your lazy ass up there in government center because you're essential. Essential for what? You're going to do nothing. He said, I'm going to wait for the National Guard. Well, clean a few streets. Nobody's going to tell you we expect you to clean all the damn streets, but do something, you useless son of a. I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like this guy. He is a buffoon, and he says it on TV. I'm going to sit there with my finger up my ass and let you people just get screwed in you. People, in the blizzard of 78, a friend of mine texted me, and she actually watches this show and occasionally comments. She texted me and reminded me, because I was at the Globe Fire Station for 5 days. I didn't come home. I couldn't shovel my walk. I couldn't do anything for 5 days because I was on duty. As were the police and everybody else, because it was all hands on deck. They use snowmobiles to deliver prescriptions and stuff like that during a blizzard of 78.
I remember that.
48 years ago, a mayor had an idea to do something. People had ideas to do something. And Paul Coogan's sitting there with his finger up his ass. I'm going to wait for the National Guard. Well, maybe that's why Meg Mayo Brown didn't make you a principal, Paul. You couldn't lead a one-man parade. I mean, I am getting pissed. I'm getting cabin fever here. Even though my car's clean, my driveway's clean, I can't. What am I going to do? I can't take my car. Can't get out and go to and get gas because I ran out of gas. I've used my snowblower for like 3 consecutive days. This is absolute insanity. We got a man that's doing nothing. He's going to wait for other people. Oh, but he did worry about one thing, didn't he? Oh, the kids don't get to school. How about the parents that can't get to work? How about people that need things now? They're running out of food. No, you don't give a shit. Oh, keep the parking back. Fine people for taking snow off the street. You don't fine them for putting it in the street. I watch them all the time throwing crap in the street. The drift near my sidewalk, which has only got a path as wide as a snowblower, is above my head. And granted, I'm not super tall, but it's over 6 feet because I had to take that 4-foot solid wall that I had between my property and the next property and put it somewhere. So I have to pile it on the existing snowbank. That snowbank is now over 6 feet tall. It's not in the street. And you're right, Steve. He knew in advance. We had a week's notice. But I don't expect you to do everything. But do something, you useless. I'm getting really aggravated now. Do something. I'm going to wait for the National Guard. You can't plow streets based on necessity. Obviously, the main streets. And how about where there are people? I don't know. I'm sure they still do. You guys might have had that in the hospitals, but the fire department had a list of people in homes that were on oxygen, needed special assistance and things like that. Those lists exist. We have people that may need assistance quickly. You think you could prioritize that, Paul? Maybe that's why you never were ever in your life put in a position of authority and leadership. You have none. Absolutely none. We had somebody right next to the Globe Fire Station. When I was a firefighter there, I was a lieutenant there, I was a chief there. We had a woman that was a block away that we knew had a lot of medical issues, and we made sure that everybody knew it. If the power went out, we had to deal with it. Nothing. I'm going to wait for the National Guard. I'm just the vice principal. I'm going to worry about the kids missing school. Screw everybody else. I mean, this is outrageous. This is outrageous. Yeah. Well, and there's the other one. Here's the other one. Yeah, I got to say, we did have an advantage, Stevie. We used to use chains, and we could get through virtually anything with that heavy apparatus with a set of chains on them. No, you're right, James. But also, like I said, even with 14 plows, you can target streets that people have serious issues. So you got somebody that you know.
It's funny you should mention that, because I called the mayor's office today, and I said very clearly, look, I'm not calling to complain, but I'm calling to complain. My streets have not been touched at all. And if you check the EMS records, you will see that EMS goes up and down my street at least once a week, if not more frequently.
Adeline.
I said, so what happens is, if we need an ambulance right now, they can't get to any of these houses. I said, so what we're going to do is we're going to put the undertakers on standby right in the middle of Buffington and Manchester with a sled. This way they can just take the bodies out of the house, put them on the sled, and take them to the mortuary.
Yeah. Hello, Adeline, Jimmy. Listen, you know how backwards it is with this guy? He's going to find people for taking the snow off the street with their snow blowers. Maybe those people had a job and they actually had to get out of their driveway and try to get to work. They weren't working where you could have the day off and get paid. They're gonna find them, but they don't find the people who are throwing the snow into the street, which is illegal, by the way. Oh, yeah. So the people have to fix it for the mayor. That's not a good, so everybody, you can't. You know why? Because he'll fine you. He's finding the people who are taking the snow off the streets now. They took a little initiative. You're going to get fined. This is bullshit. It's on him. We got rid of snow plows. We had an entire fleet at one time. And what did they do with it? Oh, get rid of it. It's too expensive. Really? Privatize it. Now you can't get private vendors. What did we do with trash? Well, so we had trash. We used to pick up trash. We had city employees picking up trash. We got rid of that. Now we're $3 million in a hole for our private vendor. You know what we got? Alphonse said it a few comments ago. We have failed leadership in this city. They still have not figured out that privatization never works. It works temporarily. They'll give you a low-ball bid, and then 5 years later, you're paying twice as much as you did for keeping city employees on the payroll and having it. We had heavy-duty equipment years ago.
They didn't even wait. Once Easy Disposal got the job, the rates went up through the roof almost immediately.
I know.
Okay? And just so people know, there will be no trash pickup this week.
Yeah, what a surprise.
They will resume trash pickup on Monday.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay? There will be no school for the rest of the week. That was announced today. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, I just got a text from somebody. I guess he can't. Said, they can't even get to work. Workers who are exempt because they can't drive on the streets.
Right.
No, of course. No, you can't. And if you live near none of that stuff, it's not even in walking distance. So what happens if you're elderly or infirmed? You can't get anywhere. You can't walk on the sidewalks in some places. I've got somebody on my street that they're, ultimately, I guess we'll get up there to neighbors, and we got some elderly people, and their sidewalk isn't really cleared well. Can't walk in the streets. The streets are a mess. You clean the street, you get fined. So now they're going to put the snow back on the walkway that I had to work 4 hours this morning to clean, finish it up, and then they're going to get it out later. Boy, I'm going to tell you, this guy could not lead a one-man parade. I have never seen such a buffoon in my life, and he says it and his priorities are all screwed up. Like you said, you can't get to work. People can't get food. We have sick people. We have lists of those. And I look at, don't try to bullshit me. I worked in an emergency service. We had lists of people who, when the power went out, they were on critical equipment and stuff. We had to deal with these people. We had people that we knew were extremely ill. We have those lists available. Did this genius that we have even know that? Oh, wait a minute. EMS is going to busy doing blood pressures and shit. Why didn't somebody from EMS go and tell them, listen, we got lists of people here. Clean the damn streets. You got 14 plows, prioritize those streets. Nobody wants to work here. Go get your own plow and do it for free. Right there. Take all 5 of them. I'm sick of doing shit for this city. For nothing. And what do they do for us? He's going to lock you in your house. This is like COVID. I'm going, obviously you can see, I'm getting cabin fever. I'm tired of watching TV. At least the good thing about this blizzard is at least we didn't lose power, so you can watch television anyway. No, hey, you're right. Listen, all the cities are having trouble, but what's the difference between Fall River and all the rest of the cities? Look at the rest of the state didn't get hit as bad as we did. We were the eye of the storm. But everybody else is doing something. John Mitchell had a press conference. He hired 25 more vendors. He's got his own equipment. He put his equipment out on the street and they're moving. Is it gonna disappear instantaneously? No, we're not being unreasonable. We had notice of this storm. This storm hit Monday. It's not Monday. There hasn't been a plow anywhere near in my entire neighborhood.
Well, let me tell you something,
crazy.
Gene.
I mean, I have never seen, and I said it, listen, it's not like I'm saying it now. It's not a revelation to me. I didn't have an epiphany. I said this after his first term. He has absolutely no leadership ability. That's why he was a vice principal. That's why he was never in a leadership position. And when this shit hits the fan, that's when you find out who can stay cool under pressure.
He's
going to find out who can hold their mud.
Beat up, rode hard, and put away wet. So, but Gene, let me tell you something. The city can deficit spend on snow removal. So it doesn't matter what the bills are. But what gets me is Elizabeth Warren, Ed Markey, Jake Auchincloss all want FEMA money for this snowstorm. Rhode Island wants FEMA money for this snowstorm. Connecticut wants FEMA money for this snowstorm. New York wants FEMA money for this snowstorm. Guess what you're getting? You're getting shit, you piece of shit. You asshats. You couldn't fund DHS. Guess what? You didn't think that you need FEMA, did you? Well, now you need FEMA. So now suck it up and fund DHS. And screw your ICE situation.
Yeah, and
because you're screwing the people.
Yeah, and they won't stand up for a woman whose daughter was viciously murdered And they won't stand up for military people or anything. And even though 70% of the Democrats want voter ID, they won't stand. They are radical psychos. That's what they are. Trump was right when he said, "You people are crazy. You won't stand up." We had 100-year-old Medal of Honor with it. They gave him the Medal of Honor. And we had, we had some people with, that we had angel moms there and everything else. These people, they have no soul. And somebody just texted me, we can't handle the average snowstorm, which we got a few weeks ago. So what did we expect? Did that teach Paul a lesson? No, because Paul walks around with his head up, his anal sphincter, stuck in there, trying to pull it out. Like I said, no leadership ability, no presence of forethought. You learn one thing when you have to be in leadership. You have to plan for emergencies. It's part of it. Whether you're in the military, the fire department, we have pre-planned drills. Police officers have to train on situational tactics. This clown walked into the office and just collected his paycheck for 6 years and did nothing. Again, nothing. Mitchell had a press conference, told the people of New Bedford, hey, look, it's going to take a while, but I'm hiring 25 other trucks. I've got our trucks out there. We've got our own trucks. And I'm going to talk to you. Where's this guy? Now that they're releasing press releases, we're going to put it on the sidewalk, and then we're going to take it off the sidewalk, and then we're going to put it on your front lawn, and then we'll put it over on the, I don't know. This is a horror show. It's a horror show. It's a horror show because of lack of leadership, lack of priorities. Their priorities is all their friends are getting around. I can guarantee you that ban does not apply to people who were friendly with Paul Coogan. I can bet you his friends, his rich friends, his lawyer friends, his banker friends, they're all driving around a freaking city. Oh, yeah, he got kicked out of the last one, too. Look, they were outrageous. They were absolutely outrageous. They're despicable human beings. I mean, they're bringing people in who the only thing they did stand up for was the hockey team. So they only did that because there's a lot of hockey fans in every state, and they were afraid they were going to lose votes. But the reality is they're despicable people. I mean, you can't show some empathy and some sympathy for somebody who was viciously murdered. And they just reported another one. I saw one yesterday in Texas, in Austin, which I went to, I forgot when. It wasn't that long ago, but it wasn't like in the last couple of years. I went there to a seminar, and I found that Austin is like a little blue dot, a big blue dot in Texas. It's all Democrat. And the DA for Austin had let this guy out for gun possession twice, failed to charge him for domestic battery, another thing, and he murdered a father of 5 at a 7-Eleven, shot him to death. This is what they do. This is what they sat down for. They are pro-criminal and pro-illegal. When you can't stand up and you swore an oath, when you swore an oath to the Constitution to be a representative of the people that you, Americans, and you sit down when a president says, do you believe it's your duty to take care of Americans before illegals? Their answer was no. Oh, Tlaib, they hate America. They hate America. They're so ridiculous, it's incredible. I mean, listen, the woman, immigrant from the Ukraine, their daughter stabbed to death. Nothing. There's just nothing there. And you got these idiots. This is what they do. But look what happened. Like I said, that guy in Austin, the DA is a liberal Soros DA. The guy had just been released. He refused. that he refused to prosecute the guy. Now he murdered somebody. Murdered a father. Gunned him down outside of 7-Eleven. And what's going to happen? The Democrats are going to keep, they're despicable people. They just are despicable people. I mean, you can't tell me that you can have a difference of opinion, but don't tell me that you swore an oath and you're going to ignore that oath. They do. And as far as Tlaib and Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, they hate the United States. They're Muslims and they hate the United States. Did you see what Mondami did in New York? Mondami wanted civilians, to shovel snow. And you know what they needed to shovel snow in New York? 2 forms of ID and a Social Security card. He's against voter ID. But to shovel snow in New York, he's requiring 2 forms of ID and your Social Security card. No illegals are shoveling snow, but they don't have to because they're getting everything for free. Nobody's shoveling snow. This is how distorted and convoluted their brains are. He also wants to outlaw dogs. And by the way, CJ and I like dogs. I love dogs. Muslims hate dogs. If you have a dog, they don't want to get near you because you're whatever. He wants to get rid of dogs in New York City because it's offending the Muslims. They don't even like the look at a dog. As a matter of fact, in the Arabic language, one of the worst things you can say, especially in the Muslim countries, in the parts that are Christian, it's not as, but if you say it in Arabic, and I know how to say it, but I'm not going to say it in Arabic, if you call someone the son of a dog, that is a terrible insult. Why? Because they hate dogs. They think dogs are dirty.
Unclean.
Yeah, they're clean. You know how many dogs have died in the line of duty as police officers? You know how many dogs are in combat with the SEALs and with special operations protecting this country? You know how many dogs have given psychological support to people? Listen, Rashida Tlaib yelling KKK and you're a murderer and Alex wasn't a criminal. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He spit on an ICE agent. He kicked the tail light, and he'd been arrested previously, by the way. So everything they say is a lie, and it's a political position.
Meanwhile, they're saying that everything Trump said was a lie, and it's a political position.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 sides which do nothing but lie. That's politics.
Yeah. The only thing is, one party is actually doing it. It actually closed our borders, actually reduced crime, and. Oh, yeah, I'm glad you reminded me of that when I saw the video. To show disrespect to anybody, because that's what fundamentally they do. They disrespect anybody who isn't a Muslim because you're an infidel. They showed New York police being pelted by snowballs by these juvenile delinquents. And I interviewed Mondami, and you know what he said? Oh, he's smiling with that little bullshit childish grin he's got, like little, I'm up, little chuckle. That's what Coogan does when he gets nervous. He chuckles. He tries to make it a joke. He goes, all I saw was a snowball fight. And they had rocks in some of them. You're right. And then what's next? Bottles? You're right, Adeline.
With gasoline.
Junior terrorists. They're terrorists in training.
Bottles with gasoline.
Yeah, next will be bottles and bricks they'll throw at the police. They teach them disrespect for everything, except you respect them or they'll kill you. I mean, this is outrageous. I mean, this storm has taken Coogan to another level. Anybody who thought he had a micromillimeter of leadership ability, it's been erased now. we're not gonna do anything till now, or whatever he said. It basically, they're not doing crap. Everybody's
What's interesting is James just brought this up about CDLs and illegals. Um, Somebody posted on social media that they were at the registry getting their license, and the person at the window next to them couldn't read English, couldn't speak English, couldn't write English, had no idea what the paperwork was, and they got a driver's license. If they can't read the paperwork, how can they read a stop sign?
And if they can't read, they can't understand.
They can't read.
No.
It's that simple.
And you are right. I don't know who Boom TKO is, but you're right. You don't need a religion. There are a lot of really, really intelligent, and whether you agree or disagree with their religious philosophy or lack thereof, who are great people. They're very, some of them are extremely intelligent. Remember Margaret Mead? CJ, you remember her?
Yeah.
She was the leader of the atheists in the United States. She was a brilliant, brilliant woman. You don't need to be religious. You just need to be, have some kind of moral compass and a soul. I told you about my godmother. My godmother, I didn't know, because a lot of people don't know it in Fall River, the Lebanese community, which is basically Christian, all Christian, for the most part, I'd say 99% Christian. They are in a Maronite rite, St. Anthony Desert Church. That's where I made my confirmation. That's where I grew up in that church. And but a lot of them are also Protestant. They go to the church on Harrison Street. It was because when St. Anthony Desert burnt down many, many years ago, the first time, they had no church to go to, so they all began to go to the church on Harrison Street to worship. A different sect, but still worship. Some of them stayed there. I have cousins who still go to the Protestant church. They're Protestants. Does that make them bad? But my godmother, one of her sons was in the Protestant church, the other's in the Catholic church. Didn't make any difference. One day I asked her, I said, what religion are you? She gave me the greatest answer in the world. And she was an immigrant from Lebanon. Well, when she came here, it wasn't Lebanon, it was still Syria. You know what she said? She said, it doesn't matter what church I go into, because I'm talking to God. And you don't even have to go into church to talk to God. If you believe in a God, you're right. You're right. You don't need to be religious to be a good person. But these people are evil. They are pure evil. I mean, the disrespect for that Omar with her, her and the other two, her and Rashida Tlaib, those two are useless. I mean, he called them crazy, but yeah. No, he's right. These people, they said, you people are crazy. When they didn't get up. I mean, everybody that didn't get up should have been removed from Congress. They don't realize. They got up and said, when he said, everybody that believes that we should be taking care of Americans before illegals, stand up. And virtually, I think the only guy might have been Fetterman. He was a senator. But nobody stood up. They had their ass planted in a chair. And then they'll try to spin it now. They'll say, oh, I was just, because Trump said it. I don't give a damn who said it. If what the person says is correct, it's correct. The day that Coogan does something right, I will say that on the show. Al Green, another guy, should have never been elected. Dumb as a rock. All they know how to do is be lunatics. That's right. That's their calling card. They have no. Listen to them closely. Does one of them have any platform for helping the people? How are they going to close the borders? They didn't. How are they going to stop inflation? They didn't. How did they? What they did was run this country into the ground for 4 years, give money to terrorist organizations in countries like Iran. But now they condemn everybody else. You're a racist. You're a Nazi. And because Trump said it, it's no good. Well, I don't care. Look, I don't agree with everything Trump does either.
Hey, you know what I thought was interesting? Jeff, I know you're here. And please, if you have a comment about this, please make it because I'll put it up. There was a girl, a real girl that was there that had been taken away from her parents because the state wanted to give her transition surgery to become a boy. The parents sued, and they wanted to do that without the parents' knowledge. The parents sued, got custody of the child back, put the child in treatment, and the child is a girl, identifies as a girl, and was happy to be a girl, and was standing there proud to be a girl. Now, what would have happened as a child if they had gone and said, hey, let's lop that off? And not tell your parents.
Or in case, glue that on. No, but look, again, this is, every time somebody mentions something, it reminds me of how despicable they truly are. They actually sat down when he talked about giving the parents the right to make decisions for their children before they're old enough to make decisions. And they planted their ass in the seats, except for Fetterman. They think it's okay. You know why? They're all like Newsom. They go to the French Laundry while you're locked in your house during COVID. The hospitals, including Massachusetts hospitals, made billions of dollars butchering young children under the lie that they're going to commit suicide if you don't let them do it. But then for them to say the parents do not have the right, the state, and they call us fascists. The state can take your children away because you don't want to let them mutilate themselves when they're like 12 years old and don't know anything. These people are not only insane, they're evil. No, you're right. It is it, but who do you have to blame? The voters of every one of those states, and every one of those states is fundamentally blue. Maine has become kind of like semi-blue. It used to be red, but what happened was all the people that got sick of paying taxes in New York and other states ran to Maine, and they made it. And they took their Democratic votes with them. And now the northern part of Maine is red, but the population of northern Maine is minuscule compared to southern Maine, because that's where everybody basically lives from Portland down. And up there they go, up in the north country, they're still red. But these people, you bring it on yourself. It's like now, how did they vote Coogan in? They almost didn't, but nobody showed up.
That's right.
No,
they put her in an all boys home, an all boys detention center.
Yeah, well, Gene's saying EMS is that he can't get by it. Shoveling a pathway. Yeah, well, somebody's going to die. Don't try, though, Paul. Wait for the National Guard. And if somebody dies, it's you. It's on you. I'm not saying you could plow every street, but plow some of them. And like I said, there is a list, but you don't know who's going to be ill. You don't know who's going to be. And then you're going to find the people that cleared their streets or some of their streets. The hell with the fact they might have been trying to get to work. But no. This is the most egregious I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like it. So the recall Coogan campaign, there's a big one. You had a whole bunch of ammunition, but this one is just this is actually tragic. It is tragic what's happening to this city. What's now? Think about the hazards. You can't get rid of your trash for another week. Who knows what's going to happen now? We're going to have rat infestations in some neighborhoods because people can't get rid of their trash. They can't fit them in their barrels because they only got one barrel. I mean, there's so many. There's just a myriad of things that are problems, health problems. And it's like, well, they won't even lift the ban. Look, I got an SUV. It's got all-wheel drive. I can get out of my driveway. I cleaned my driveway. I cleaned so I can get to the street, and the people on my street, the bottom of my street where I live, at the bottom, at the base, I can get the county street. I could go and pick up some essentials, but I can't. And now I spend 4 hours cleaning my sidewalks completely, well, a path. I got 6-foot drift, but now they're going to dump snow back on my sidewalk. What are they going to do now? Fine me for having snow on my sidewalk? He's going to find people. He's going to find people for removing snow, and not find people for throwing snow in the street. Go figure.
Hey, if you're going to throw snow in the street, do it now, because the street's already a shithole. So they're going to have to remove it anyhow.
It's a mess. And listen, I know DCM would be out there trying. And
they don't have the equipment.
But they got 14 trucks. But look, they got to listen. I'm going to get back to omission and commission. Okay, let's make this real simple. This is an emergency. Let me get this down to the bottom line. Paul Coogan isn't used to emergencies. Emergencies, you have to do something. Yeah. No, I know. Of course not. They didn't care. The 100-year-old. Yeah, with getting a Medal of Honor for a mission that was classified, and they did it in 100 years. He's 100 years old. He had multiple wounds. But let's get back to why he's a failure. When you're a leader, you have to do something. You have to have a plan, and everybody trains. When I had a new officer, and they came into my shift, I would tell them, that's right. I would tell them there are errors or omission and commission. Omission means you didn't do anything. And there were some officers that would not do anything until a chief got there to tell them what to do, because they were afraid they'd do something wrong. And you can't do that in an emergency service. You've got to do something. So I used to tell them all, do something. Make an error of commission. If you didn't do it exactly right, I can explain tactically what you did wrong, but you have to do something. You can't stand there in front of a burning building with your finger up your ass. You can't stand there with somebody dying in front of you and not doing anything because you're waiting for a supervisor. You have to
unless
do
you're
something.
Paul Coogan.
Yeah, unless you're Paul Coogan. But that's the key. The key is the city has to do something. I don't want to hear that shit. We only got 14 plows. It's your fault. You got rid of all the equipment. I don't want to hear it. We can't get drivers. It's your fault. You made them take insurance with one of your insurance friends. And then they went somewhere else. Everything is on Paul Coogan. That's it. Case closed, bottom line.
But,
and
I will say this much. Not trying to justify, but Coogan did remove the insurance requirement, which was put in place by Jason Correa. Okay? Coogan did not get rid of the equipment. Jason Correa did. Because they privatized everything.
Yep.
And the insurance came about because of the negligence of the plow drivers. And the city was getting whacked.
Well, I will give you a counterpoint to that now. You are kind
that's
of
why I told him.
You are kind of giving him a break. We had warnings of this. Why didn't he repeal the insurance requirement when he got into office? And we had snowstorms. If it was inhibiting their ability to get drivers. He didn't. Lack of leadership again.
That's right.
Lack of leadership again. We don't have trucks. Why didn't he buy trucks? He wasted how many millions of opera funds? You think we could have got some freaking trucks? No. Keep it with 14. We spent what? $77 million on getting everybody in the city of Fall River a new car. Nobody drives around with an old shit banger like I did. When I first made chief, I was driving in a car that was 14 years old and had 180,000 miles on it. That was the chief's car. I know it wasn't right. We should have had a better car, but we needed a brand new one. We got people driving around in the city with Dodge Chargers, a high-end Mopar muscle car. What the F does anybody in the city need a freaking muscle car for?
Hey,
I want to know. We got people driving around brand new trucks that virtually don't need a brand new truck.
When you get EMS flying to your house, you get one ambulance, one truck, and one SUV. Okay?
And sometimes
why you need 3 vehicles for one call is beyond me. Beyond me.
Lack of leadership. We had 1 week to prepare, and we had a snowstorm previously that he didn't do a very good job on. Did he do a damn thing to fix it? No. No. They played craps. They shot craps. Let's hope we don't have another snowstorm, and we got the worst snowstorm in the history about that. But did Paul Coogan learn from the previous snowstorm? Did he ever look and say, what are the problems we have? Well, we don't have a hell of a lot of snow removal equipment. Maybe we could look at opera and get some funding or something for this. Oh, no. No. This is lack of leadership.
No, I got to piss the opera money away on my friends.
That's
right.
I
got to piss the opera money away on my friends.
$7 million for lights and benches that we were going to get for free.
Right.
I mean, look, you could go on and on, but the problem is this guy, as I said, he by his own, he's convicted by his own words. You know, I'm just a vice principal. And now you know why he remained a vice principal his entire career and never became a principal. He's a total disaster as a leader. Leaders have to be proactive, not reactive. You can't wait. Police officers trained for situational awareness. They go over different scenarios. Not that you can, it's always, you know, even in the military, we train. The fire department, we pre-plan. Emergency services have to pre-plan. You have to go, what's going to happen if we have a catastrophe? And even then, things go sideways. But at least if you got a fundamental plan, it's going to minimize how much damage. You can minimize the damage because you're at least prepared. But they don't. And look, this is a catastrophe. Every other city is not doing well with this. And I'll be perfectly frank with that. The rest of the cities, Providence, Smiley's taking heat, but they're doing something. You see Smiley on TV every other day. Mitchell was in New Bedford on TV. These people are doing something in their city. Paul Coogan is sitting on his hands and waiting for somebody to give him direction.
What's interesting is every time I see a press conference, I don't see Paul in Government Center. I see him in his home. Which home, we don't know. But
yes. Yeah, that's right, Alphonse. He's going. That's what he used to say to his students in that environment where they're always protected. I mean, it was an all hands on deck storm. We have a lot of departments that have trucks, don't we, CJ?
That's what I was going to say.
Maybe I'm wrong. You know, you and I had a conversation about that.
Right.
I mean, we have trucks in the police department. We have trucks in the fire department. We have trucks in every department. We couldn't have put all hands on deck. No, I don't know. I mean, maybe because I've been in leadership positions and I had to make life or death decisions in the military and on a fire department. I understand that you can't sit there and just stare. You know, there's two ways to do things. You either make something, and you have to make a decision, or something catastrophic is going to happen. And this is what's happened to this city. It's catastrophic. You know, there was an old saying in the fire service about chiefs who panicked at fires and couldn't make decisions. They shouldn't have been chiefs. And the way they were described is when you get a bad fire, it's when in danger, when in doubt, run in circles, scream and shout. Well, it's too late if you don't know how to do the job. You have to run in circles and scream and shout because you don't know what the heck you're doing. And that's what we got in the sixth floor. It's a disgrace that he has been mayor for 4 terms. Shame on the voters of Fall River. It should have been one and done. But that's it. You know, let's.
As a matter of fact, isn't that what he said when he ran the first time? That he was only going to run for the 1 term to bring stability to Fall River?
I think that's exactly what he said.
Exactly. Stability. I still haven't seen any stability.
Yeah, well, we sure as hell don't have any snow removal capability.
No.
I can tell you that much.
No.
And what's going to be the response to that? Oh, they're all going to come up with a solution now. That is what happens to non-leaders. They're looking. They look in the rearview mirror and said, "Well, we shoulda, we coulda, we woulda." But that's not the way people who are leaders have to look at it. What did Saint Francis of Assisi say? First, do what is necessary. Then do what you can, and then before you know it, you'll be doing the impossible. And I'm paraphrasing that one, but you have to do what is necessary. A leader has to be prepared. Snow emergencies in the Northeast are a reality. If you can't figure that out, you got a serious leadership problem. And speedboat shootout in Cuba. Okay, I'm betting that our Navy won, or Coast Guard. Our money's on Team USA, like in the Olympics. And wasn't it great to shift to a positive note? Wasn't it great when that kid who lost his teeth after getting smacked in the face with a stick was saying how great it was, the team, American hockey and American teammates, and being an American. He was so proud to be an American, and this country so proud of being from this country. And then you got that scum like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, yeah, who wanna make this a like Iran, where they can shoot everybody who disagrees with them in the street. They call us Nazis. Oh, you shot Americans. Well, they've shot thousands of Americans in Iran. Why? Because that's what they do. And that's what Democrats want to do to everybody. Yeah, you're right. Very well said, Scott. That's right.
Yeah.
20, 30 years.
But you know what? The worst part about it is you have city councilors right now, like the big fat turd. And I don't like making fun of people's weight because I'm no slim guy. But I'll tell you now, okay? You look like a big fat turd when you got to keep moving to make sure you're in the camera. And you're showing up at every press conference.
He's running for
You're
mayor.
a city councilor. Stay in your freaking lane. Your lane is not with the executive board. Your lane is not with the executive office. It's legislative. Stay in your lane. You should not be out driving around the city with department heads. You have no authority over them.
True. But he's running for mayor. We all know he has aspirations to becoming mayor.
Oh, I know.
And when it's an election year, everybody knows where a camera is. Look at Cabbage Patch Governor even knows where Fall River is. She imposed the ban. Like, what does she give a damn about Fall River?
Right.
No, it was. Look, they can't be. Look, the problem is, Jeff, that all countries in the world used to be based on nationalism. Everybody loved their country and fought for their country and explored for their country and did everything. And yeah, he's on a mission. He doesn't like a certain counselor, I think. It's pretty obvious.
I have nothing personal against the turd.
Except he's a politician.
I have nothing personal against Mr. I'm going to post a forensic audit as soon as I take office, which I still haven't seen. I have nothing personally against them. Okay? But stay in your freaking lane. That's the problem with the city council. They never stay in their lane. Oh, and Cliff, if you're watching, enough with the repeats. Government Center posted it. Government TV posted it. Then Cliff Ponte posts it. The only difference is Cliff Ponte signs it.
Another incipient mayoral and previous mayoral candidate. They're all getting in line because Coogan's leaving. There's going to be an empty seat, and you're going to see them all come in. Let's hope somebody gets in the race that isn't a politician. And like now, it's election season where there's a camera, there will be a politician.
Well, you've got, like I said, right now you've got 2 city councilors driving around the city with various people. Okay? You have city councilors getting involved in the press conferences.
Yeah, they want to keep their finger on a pulse. Let me see.
Keep their finger on the pulse. What pulse? Yeah. The pulse of Paul's ass? I mean, come on. Who's fingering who?
I'll tell you this. Everybody's getting cabin fever, but
yes, that's true.
It's crazy. Like I said, I can't even. I gotta walk to the gas station to get gas. So.
Thank you, Adeline. Well, I want to thank you all for listening to my spew. I want to thank you for watching, and remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable if you've got the balls. Have a great day, and please don't get too crazy in your house. We'll see you on Friday.
CJ is passionate.